Is Putin's nuclear fleet now at full combat readiness at the very moment Zelensky is facing the biggest political crisis of his presidency, raising the stakes of this war to an entirely new and dangerous level? Is Zelensky now fighting two wars simultaneously, one against Putin's missiles and drones on the front line, and another against an erupting public back home demanding he reverse a decision that has shaken Ukrainian society? The Kremlin is now openly boasting of full combat readiness for its nuclear fleet across every ocean on Earth. But is this a genuine military capability or a carefully timed message aimed directly at Kyiv and the West? As Putin raises the nuclear stakes and projects global naval power, is Zelensky trudging forward without a defense chief at the worst possible moment, leaving Ukraine's war machine leaderless at a critical juncture? As Ukraine's government descends into political turmoil over controversial cabinet reshuffle, Russia has simultaneously and deliberately raised its nuclear naval posture, sending a stark signal to a distracted Kyiv. On July 15, senior Kremlin aide Nikolai Patrushev publicly declared that Russia's nuclear fleet had reached full combat readiness, a statement timed to land at maximum psychological impact on Ukraine and its Western backers. According to the Kyiv Independent, Patrushev claimed Russia's navy now possesses the capability to defend the country in any maritime theater across the globe, positioning Moscow as a fully resurgent oceanic military power. Moscow is reportedly drawing up long-term naval plans designed to address threats across the entire global ocean all the way through 2050, suggesting Russia is no longer thinking about this war but about the next generation of great power conflict. The nuclear posturing came at a pointed moment, as Ukraine was continuing its drone campaign against Russian shipping corridors, directly threatening the naval routes Moscow depends on for military and commercial supply. Ukraine claimed it had already successfully struck more than 100 maritime targets in its ongoing naval drone campaign, a figure that underlines just how seriously Kyiv has degraded Russia's ability to move freely at sea. Russia conducted major nuclear exercises across multiple branches of its armed forces from May 19 to May 21, a sweeping multi-day drill that sent an unmistakable message to NATO and Ukraine about Moscow's strategic intent. The exercises reportedly involved 73 warships and 13 submarines operating in coordinated formations, demonstrating a scale of nuclear-capable naval deployment that had not been seen publicly for years. 8 of the 13 submarines involved were reportedly armed with strategic missile systems, meaning a significant portion of Russia's submarine-launched nuclear arsenal was actively deployed and exercised during the drills. Patrushev stated that Russia's future naval development plans would be designed to account for all potential threats on every front, signaling that Moscow views its naval nuclear posture as central to its long-term security doctrine. President Volodymyr Zelensky has dismissed Ukraine's defense minister as part of a wider government reshuffle. Mykhailo Fedorov confirmed he is stepping down after serving just 6 months as Ukraine's defense minister. Fedorov described his tenure as a great honor while announcing his departure. At just 35, Fedorov became the youngest person ever appointed to lead Ukraine's defense ministry. He acknowledged that he had not succeeded in reforming the ministry according to NATO standards. President Zelensky has not publicly explained the reason behind the decision. Lawmakers claim relations between Fedorov and Ukraine's military leadership had seriously deteriorated. According to lawmakers, Zelensky had grown dissatisfied with the pace of defense reforms. Before taking over the defense ministry, Fedorov led Ukraine's digital transformation and helped develop its drone warfare capabilities. He also expanded cooperation with U.S. military technology company Palantir. The partnership focused on artificial intelligence, battlefield data analysis, and long-range strike planning. Officials say Palantir's systems helped improve battlefield targeting during crucial times. The ministry said the cooperation was intended to strengthen Ukraine's ability to strike deeper inside Russian territory. The latest dismissal continues a pattern of frequent leadership changes under Zelensky. Several previous defense ministers also left office amid procurement and contract controversies. His predecessor was also reassigned within months as part of an earlier cabinet reshuffle. Reports suggest Interior Minister Igor Klemenko is now among the leading candidates to take over the defense ministry. The shake-up follows the recent departure of Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko and several members of her cabinet. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is set to replace Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko after just 1 year in office. The announcement has triggered the resignation of Ukraine's entire government, according to a Reuters report on the political shake-up. Zelensky said the cabinet reshuffle was necessary to implement an updated political strategy and strengthen Ukraine's wartime governance. Volodymyr Zelensky said, and I quote, "I am grateful to Yulia for her clear, steady, and effective work as Prime Minister, for her years of productive service on Ukraine's team. And I have offered her the opportunity to lead a new and important area of relations with a key partner. I expect that, together with MPs, we will make the corresponding changes in the government of Ukraine." Unquote. Svirodenko became Prime Minister in July 2025 after spending several years leading Ukraine's economic development and reconstruction agenda. The government overhaul comes as Kyiv continues to face intense domestic and international scrutiny over several high-profile corruption investigations. Reuters said the so-called Midas case has emerged as Ukraine's biggest corruption scandal in recent years involving state-owned enterprises. The investigation focuses on alleged kickbacks worth around $100 million linked to contracts at Ukraine's state nuclear company, Energoatom. The sudden and unexpected ouster of Mykhailo Fedorov triggered an immediate wave of protests directly outside President Zelensky's office in Kyiv, with angry crowds demanding answers about a decision they had not seen coming. By July 16th, more than 1,000 protesters had gathered in Kyiv demanding Fedorov's immediate return to his post, making it one of the most visible public demonstrations of dissent against Zelensky's government since the war began. Protesters filled the streets chanting "shame" at the top of their voices and carrying placards reading "Bring Fedorov back," directing their anger squarely at a presidency they felt had made a catastrophic wartime miscalculation.
I see this as a very ill-considered decision that will affect the speed of procurement, the transparency of procurement, the morale of the military, and the morale of society. I believe Fedorov should remain in his position despite everything.
I feel anger and despair. We have to do something to stop this, Fedorov's dismissal. That's why we came out.
For the first time in a very long period of war, there was at least some hope that it might end in the not-too-distant future. If Fedorov is removed now, that hope may disappear.
The politically damaging reshuffle arrived at the worst possible moment, as Ukraine was already facing relentless and continued military pressure from Russian forces pushing hard along multiple sections of the front line.